good evening, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show, post live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Red. I'm joined this evening by my normal partners in crime. What's going on, Professor? Good to have you in the building this evening. How you feeling?
Hey, what it do, fellas? What's up, everybody? Let's light this thing on fire. Praise the Lord.
And of course, we got my man Ed. Glad you made it back safely from your little sojourn over the weekend. Good to see you, Ed. How you doing, my brother?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I made it back. But anyway, that's a story for offline. But I'm happy to be here. I'm always glad to see you guys. Welcome back, Professor J. I missed you last week. I know you was behind the scenes.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it on. Let's talk some sports tonight.
Fantastic. Well, this evening, y'all know we got to talk about the NCAA Final Four. We're gonna hit the women and men's Final Four. One or two big things happened in the NFL, so we're gonna touch on that real quick. For you golf fans out there, an event like no other. It's Masters Week.
Mm-hmm.
We got our post takes, and the professor's got a special MLB slant on his post takes this week.
Yes,
a couple
sir.
of other topics that caught our attention. Of course, our final post of the evening. As always, we greatly appreciate that you're tuning in or you check us out on the podcast platform of your choice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Positional Sports Talk Show post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. So we're going to start off with the ladies because, you know, we like to give the ladies all the props that we can on our show. And I got to say, fellas, I don't know about y'all, but this year, the ladies' tournament was better than the men's tournament to me.
Yeah, you didn't get much of an argument from me.
Yes. Outside of like maybe one or two games.
Right.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Right.
And that is huge for women's basketball. So first, I want to give hats off to ESPN for stepping up and putting that entire women's tournament live on TV through their networks.
Yeah.
So this situation where people saying, "Oh, you can't get enough eyeballs to TV," ESPN figured it out, and more teams need to figure it out. They even had a few games on ABC over the weekend. So they got huge numbers for the women's tourney this year. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the, what do you say, excuses come up that the women can't sell.
Hey, Big Reg and Professor J, I have a general question before we get involved in the games as far as the women's game is concerned. I have two questions, and I'm sorry I didn't just Google this because I knew I had you two to explain it to me. So I was like, I'm not Googling, I'm just going to ask. First of all, when I was watching the championship game between, and I know we're going to get into them, and it's not specifically about the game, but when I was watching Stanford and Arizona play in the championship game on the women's side, I was wondering why they have quarters and on the men's side, they have halves. Because the women's, because in the NBA they have quarters, right. But on the men's side in college, on the college level, they have halves.
The women's game switched to quarters 4 or 5 years ago, and the reasoning was better flow for the games.
Okay.
If you got a shorter period, and you got in the quarters, you know how all the coaches say the first 2 minutes of a half a quarter and the last 2 minutes are the most important.
Right.
Well, if you only got 10-minute quarters, their coaching style changes. It improved the speed of the women's game. It increased scoring of the women's game because people were less likely to try to take the air out of the ball that you get sometimes in the men's games with two halves, slowing it down. And I actually think the men's game, college game, should probably go back to quarters because it used to be quarters decades ago.
Right.
I mean, it really makes a difference in how the women's game flows. Because you look up, the quarter just started. By the time you have the first TV break, it's 4 minutes in. You're almost halfway through the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's trying to win a quarter, so they actively progressing to try to do better for the different quarters. So it's definitely increased the women's game. Like I said, increased the scoring and made it much more fast-paced type of flow.
Yeah, plus it changes the mental aspect of the game too. And I can tell you, Gonzaga probably wish they were playing by quarters last night. We'll get into that in a few minutes.
All right, well, thanks for clearing that up. All right, I'm sorry to distract everybody. Back to the regular schedule program.
What's funny, one of my partners, y'all know him, G Money, asked the same question last night. He sent me a text last night. He'd be like, hey, I know you watching the game. What's going on? Like mine. So we got to start out. We got out of here last Tuesday. So there was a couple of games going on. And just hit the scores for you. Stanford beat Louisville in the Elite 8, 78-63. And then South Carolina crushed Texas, 62-34. So that set up the matchup between Stanford and
the Gamecocks.
Stanford and South Carolina, that's right. And then you already had Arizona, who had already won, to meet UConn. So you get into the Final Four. The Stanford South Carolina game was so good.
I know, man.
So
it's heartbreaking though.
I mean, to see it come down to a last second shot, and the first shot was kind of wild, but to see All-American Aaliyah Boston with the tap in at almost point blank range, all she got to do is put that thing back in and miss it. I was like, oh,
I know, man.
That was a crusher. That was a crusher. So,
and then that's how the same scenario played out in the championship game.
Yeah.
Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stanford goes on to win that by 1 point, 66-65. And I'm here to tell you, Haley Jones, the point forward for Stanford, sophomore, she is changing college basketball similar to kind of what Draymond Green got. And please don't get, but not a great outside shooter, but when she gets hot, she can hit some, but she just helps control the game.
Oh, yeah.
And being 6'1", with some size to her, there's nothing they can do. She can get wherever she wants to.
And she got some handles, too.
She was balling. I mean, she gave 24. She gave South Carolina 24.
And they couldn't do nothing with her in the paint, especially in the championship game. No.
Yeah. So she was really nice. And then you had Arizona put it on the great UConn. UConn got the 13 Final Fours, but woo!
Yeah.
You got to say hats off to Adia Barnes, coach of Arizona, because she had them young ladies ready for bed. They got up in UConn. They got physical with UConn. And Erin McDonald.
Cold beast right there. But check this out.
Arizona, go ahead.
The coach just had a baby too, and she out there coaching, and at halftime she feed the baby and doing all that.
She was pumping at halftime. Come on,
man. She need to be coach of the year. I don't care who they got up there.
But Arizona, I was trying to figure out how they were so good because they got jumped on. Stanford jumped on them a little bit in the first quarter of the championship game. And I don't want to get it too far ahead of myself, but this is just about Arizona. But I was trying to figure out why are they so good because, and I think I figured it out. It has to be their defense. Their defense because, and I don't know the stats. I don't know the stats for the semifinal game when they dismantled UConn, who I picked to win the championship. I'm not gonna hide behind it. I did pick UConn to win, but I think I fell into the hype. I don't know. I don't know. I underestimated Arizona, but apparently I wasn't alone.
You weren't.
But their defense, because they forced 19 turnovers in the championship game. That's a lot of turnovers. So I kept watching the game, and every time Stanford would make a run, Arizona would be like, okay, that's enough. Clamp down on defense and bring the game back tight. But again, not getting ahead of myself, but I was just Arizona has to be one of the best coached teams in college basketball. And I'm saying college basketball, not male, female. I'm saying college basketball.
I agree. Their defense, which is a thing with on the men's and women's side, you could see teams that were truly hard-nosed, tough, rugged defensive players giving some of these blue blood programs some issues. Because Arizona got up in them. And Coach Barnes at the end of beat UConn, she had a couple of
choice words,
French words that she didn't know was caught on camera. But that's how she felt. Because, I mean, come on. They didn't put Arizona in the Final Four video.
That's sad.
Right. Terrible.
Yeah. At first, I thought, well, maybe they didn't have any footage of them.
They played all. Come on, man.
But they were. I know. But I know.
But let me jump on that bandwagon as far as Arizona's defense, because you can't mention their defense without talking about Bendu Yaney and Trinity Baptiste, because they were giving them teams all that they had, especially in the championship game. Them girls was playing. They were getting steals, blocks, everything. When they would get on that run, that's how they were able to withstand that storm that Stanford had in the beginning. But, man, that game was so good. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know what's surprising about the women's game, though, that I actually sat down and, I was watching these games, and the athleticism of the players have so, like, if you watch, like I said, I was kind of paying attention to women's basketball, like kind of tough about 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go from 15 years ago to now, like back then, you might have one or two players that would shine, that would jump out on the screen or on the court. But now, if you watch that game, either one, you could just pick the game in the Final Four or throughout the tournament. But these women are so athletic now; they actually look like if you close your eyes and you didn't see like the long flowing hair, you would think there were guys on the. I mean, they move so fluid. Their game is so smooth now. I'm rooting for the women's basketball. I really am, because if you haven't tuned in lately, you missing something.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out for UConn, even though they lost. I mean, their two big guns did show up in that game. Paige Beckers, for the next 3 years, she gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna be a problem. And then you got junior Christian Williams, who dropped 20 against Arizona. She was trying to do it, but again, 2 against 5 is hard to win.
Yeah.
Hard to win. DJ asked a question. I believe Arizona has at least half of their team coming back, and they got a couple of good players coming in. But the big one they losing is Ari McDonald and Baptiste. So that's going to be but Coach Barnes will get whoever comes in there coached up, and they're going to play a hard-nosed defense. They were number 2 in the Pac-12 to Stanford. You just ain't hear anything about the Pac-12 because it was on the West Coast most of the time. So, and then
don't forget, UConn going to be right back in the mix because they got Fudd coming in next year as a freshman.
Yeah, so the championship game, we get Stanford, Arizona, all Pac-12 final, and Stanford jumped on them early. But Arizona, again, never gave in, kept battling. Finally, you had McDonald get on track in the second half, and they was going back and forth. But again, point forward, Haley Jones took over the game at the end.
I thought her and the big girl, Brink, the big tall girl, the freshman, I think she was
5 freshman. She was
controlling the paint. Like they were coming in, take it up, get it out of here. But I think that ultimately, Stanford, like, again, it was a 1 point. Look, let's not fool ourselves. Arizona could have easily won that game. They had
absolutely.
the ball. They were the last ones with the ball. So they had a chance, and they lost by 1. They easily could have won that game, but I think ultimately the difference was Jones and the girl Brink. That's what I saw anyway. I think Stanford had a little too much size ultimately for him.
And that was a huge thing for Stanford that jumped off the page to me. Besides their two guards, one of which was Russell Wilson's younger sister, who was a senior, and then their other guard. Everybody else Stanford brought into the lineup was 6'1" or taller.
Yeah, and you can see it.
Everybody else.
Yeah. And that was basically their strategy at the end of the game, because they said it at the end of the game interview. They were like, we knew where the ball was going, so everybody flowed towards Ari. And that's why she had to take that bad shot.
Yeah.
And it still hit the back of the rim.
Yeah, it still hit the back of the rim. They had a chance. They had a chance. Yep.
I was wondering why she couldn't get free, but I guess they were like 4 people around her at the time.
They say we know where the ball is going, so just swarm around her. And that's, if you watch that last play, that's exactly what they did.
Because there were two people wide open in the corner. She's the star. Coach told her, we came here with you, bring us home. We're going to live or die with it. And they was fine with it. And she didn't want to make a mistake of trying to pass at the last second and get tipped. So she took a shot. So congratulations to the Stanford Cardinal women's basketball team for winning the national championship. And Professor, you talk about next year. Next year is going to be a problem.
Crazy.
If y'all didn't watch women's college basketball this year, get your popcorn ready for next year. Because you got Stanford brings back almost everybody except for their 2 senior guards. And who's to say one of them might not come back? Because this COVID era, even seniors have the ability to come back for an extra year.
Right.
So if you don't want to go to WNBA, why not have you going to Stanford? Why not have Stanford pay for a year of your grad school and play ball?
Right. Right.
UConn brings back everybody. They did have one guard transfer today because she knew she wasn't going to get any playing time. But every significant player in UConn comes back. And they add the #1 recruit in the country, shooting guard, Ozzie Fudd of St. John's College right here in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Who's great friends with Paige Beckers. They played on the U.S. Olympic team. They won 2 gold medals together with the under-17 team, and I think the under-16 team.
But South Carolina got the 2.
South Carolina's got the #1 rated recruiting class coming in. They got 2, 3, 4, and I think 9
ranked players
coming in. Plus, they've already got, like I said, All-American Boston, who ain't going anywhere. She had 2 fellow sophomores, and their point guard's a junior and be a senior. South Carolina's going to be loaded. The Maryland Terps transfer seniors Katie Benson and Chloe Bibby have already said they're coming back for another year, even though they're seniors. So Maryland's bringing back their whole squad next year.
Nice.
And then Baylor.
Women's basketball is going to be
loaded.
A monster next year. So, like I said, get your popcorn ready. Sit back and enjoy. It's going to be fun to watch.
Sure is.
Couple of shout outs for some prizes out there. We got to give a shout out to Coach Brenda Freeze. Even though Maryland didn't make it as far as I thought they would and as far as they wanted to go, Brenda won her 2nd AP Coach of the Year award.
Right.
She replaced her entire starting 5 this year and got her team to the Sweet 16. So great job. UConn freshman, Uber freshman, Paige Beckers won the AP Player of the Year, the Naismith Player of the Year, and the Wooden Award Player of the Year. The first freshman to win those titles. Yeah, she a monster.
Outstanding.
Even Gino said if she was eligible, she'd probably be the #1 pick in the WNBA draft. And they need to look at
no doubt
what they need to do with that, because you can't be younger than 22 to go into the WNBA draft.
But speaking of that, give a shout out to UConn's athletic program, because they're trying to figure out a way when we're talking about this name, image, and likeness situation that's going on in the NCAA. They're already trying to figure out a way to get her paid now,
right?
Because they're thinking, their logic is she can make more money now in college than she can once she goes to the NBA or overseas the NBA, the WNBA or overseas to pursue professional basketball. So they're saying, okay, let's start getting her paid now, so that she'll have 4 years worth of or 3 more years worth of earning income. While she's at UConn with the brand name of everything. Right. And so I think that's really good of UConn being out front and doing that. So absolutely. I don't know if it's self-serving or what, but nevertheless, it's a good thing they're doing.
You said you don't know if it is?
Come on, Professor J. I don't know if it is.
Come on. What's the track record of every major program in the NCAA? When they do something, it's got a dollar sign behind it some way. Right.
But at least, right. But they can be, UConn can be benefiting off of this themselves, which I'm sure they are. But, to be out front and trying to get the young lady some paper in her pocket, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, they can dress it up.
I think, Gino, all of it's self-serving. If you can come to UConn and use our platform to make more money, that's going to get you more recruits. Yes. Not that he needs to do anything else, but maybe he's tired of losing
to South Carolina
each year for the best recruiting class. He get 1, she get 3.
Yeah, he used to get 3, right. And they would get 1. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And last but not least, I can't forget junior forward out of Baylor, Nalisa Smith, who won the Wade Trophy, which is another Player of the Year. So hats off, lady, fabulous year. Glad to see that y'all did y'all thing, and I'm happy that we actually got to a champion in the NCAA tournament this year. So let's turn to the men. Yeah. Before we get to what happened yesterday,
because I can't wait.
Because what happened yesterday was absolutely ridiculous. We gotta get props. Gonzaga, again, we all got off last Tuesday. Gonzaga hammered USC 85-66. Everybody said USC was gonna give them problems because of their height. They blew them out. We had UCLA upset Michigan in a great game, 51-49. Thought Michigan was going to be able to pull it out, and they had a shot at the end, but UCLA did their thing. And their forward, UCLA's forward, who transferred from Kentucky, Johnny Juzang.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
he made himself millions of dollars through this tournament. He went from Johnny Who to Johnny need to come out and get into the NBA draft because he could be a lottery pick because he's got the perfect pro game. Shoot it from long. I can take anybody off the dribble, hit you mid-range. If you too slow, I can go by you. Yeah, he got mad game. And
Coach Kyle, what are you doing?
Yeah. He couldn't even get time at Kentucky. He was coming off the bench. So that just goes to show you. But then we got into the Final Four. And I guess we just got to get into it. What Baylor did should be illegal in probably half the states to do to other teams in a tournament.
Defense.
Because they dug up into Houston to prove a point. They was like, we are not letting another Texas team think that they better than us. Period.
Yeah.
They jumped on Houston so bad. Houston scored 20 points in the first half.
Yeah, they whooped.
It was over.
I felt bad for Coach Sampson, man. they did. They whooped him.
There was like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that 3-headed guard monster, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then what they did to Gonzaga last night.
Look, I got to say something about this.
Wow.
First of all, we all was kind of hesitant with Gonzaga. Because Gonzaga, this storyline has kind of been written before. But this year was kind of supposed to be their year, right? I mean, they had everything. They had NBA guards. They had maybe some some bench players, NBA bench players in the front line. But them Baylor Bears had, how am I going to say this politically correct? They had men. They had grown men. Let me just say it like that. They had grown men down in Baylor. I didn't know. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I knew Baylor was built like that.
Man.
But Coach Drew, and we kind of talked about this last week when we were saying that if you think about Valparaiso, and I didn't realize until after the game that Coach Drew has been down Baylor as long as he has, but he came right after that situation where the Denny, Denny Hay or
right.
the young man, I think he has ties
by his own teammate.
Right.
Yeah.
He took over the program right after that. I didn't realize he had been down there that long because that's been almost, I guess,
it's 18 years.
20 years. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But anyway, when them men, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the Houston game because I was traveling. But when I sat down and watched them men play against Gonzaga, and I think one of our listeners tuned in and said something about this about they need to get in the weight room because
BJ,
because I don't want to say grown men got punked, but it kind of looked like that. It kind of looked like you know what it looked like. Remember when Georgetown back in the day when John Thompson used to have the brothers pressing all game and playing that frantic? It kind of reminded you of that, where they would just intimidate teams. Yeah. And that's what it looked like last night.
Yeah.
And they had one little player, I think the point guard, the young brother, is it Suggs?
Suggs.
He tried. He tried. But he was a lone wolf.
Yeah.
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 Man, the three-headed monster that they had with T'Challa, Thamba, and Vital, they were just manhandling them boys on the boards, man. Like Timmy just looked like he was lost, got busted in the mouth and everything. I mean, he did the best he could, but he couldn't do nothing with them three. I know they got in foul trouble late, but the damage was done. The game was over by that time. And that dude, Davion Mitchell, that's an NBA player right there. That Bama can do a step back three like nobody's business. And he got wiggles and he can get to the rim. When they jumped out to like that 17-point lead to start the game, I looked at Janine and was like, it's over. I was like, it's over. Ain't no way. I knew they were going to try to make a run, but I was like, the way that they just punched them in the mouth, and Gonzaga was just looking all shook. I was like, ain't no way they're going to be able to adjust to that. And before the game, the announcers were talking about how Gonzaga was simulating their defense in practice, but you can't practice against that type of defense right there with those boys. I'm sorry, those men out there pushing you around. So, yeah, the game was over within 10 minutes of starting the game. You could clearly see it because they were shook. They were shook.
But, Professor, this is what I didn't understand about Baylor. They had grown men down in the paint.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize they had the shooters that they have on their team. Yeah. They were hitting NBA beyond NBA point 3-point line 3-pointers. They was deadly.
Butler and Mitchell were doing their thing, and they were beating them up. Go ahead.
And you know who's scrappy? It's the dude, Matt, the white boy Mayor. That boy scrappy, man. And the
lone
man. I was like, where did this dude come from? He was just cleaning up, rebound, putting it back, boom, wide open shots. I was like, what's the dude's name? Mayor. Man, he was punishing them boys, man.
Yeah, it was a classic example. You know that old saying, sometimes it's not the X's and O's, but it's the Johnnies and the Joes.
Yeah.
You can see that these Johnnies and Joes were totally different, and they were playing with X's and O's. So Coach Drew had them ready to play.
Ooh.
And like you said, they were you could see it in the bodies. They were stronger, they got faster, longer, and they played with an attitude, just like they did to Houston the game before. They wanted to show everybody, y'all put these people at number one preseason ahead of us, when we were supposed to be the number one team in the nation going into last year's NCAA tournament. It never happened. And y'all didn't give us the respect to make us number one again because they got this freshman guard, Suggs. He good, but we got the best guards in this game, and we going to show you.
Right.
And they put it on. But I got to get shout out. Mark Biddle, 6'5", looked like he was like 270.
He was.
He looked like Big Baby. I kept thinking that was Big Baby out there, man.
He was killing Timmy. He made Timmy disappear. That man had 8 offensive rebounds in the game. He had more offensive rebounds than the whole Gonzaga team combined.
But I was wondering, I kept watching the game, and I was wondering, and I think it became apparent late. Do you think that Gonzaga was intimidated by Baylor?
Yeah.
Physically intimidated?
Yeah.
Because it looked like that.
I sure do.
Never had anybody get up into them from the opening tip. Them boys was up in their chest, putting that shoulder into them, and they physically beat them up. The only player on Gonzaga who looked like he deserved to be on that floor with them was Suggs.
Yeah, it was Suggs. That's it.
Everybody else, they look soft.
Soft.
Yeah. And just some Black history for all the listeners. This is Baylor became the first team to win in the state of Texas since the 1965-66 Texas Western team.
Wow.
That had to have all Black starters on there. They integrated that team and they won the national title. They beat Kentucky, I believe, that year.
In Maryland.
Yeah, right at Cole Field House. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And Baylor not going anywhere.
No.
Dang.
No, he built a monster. He's built a monster there, and he's become a master of transfers. 7 of those players on that team transferred from other programs. So he knows the kind of players he's looking for. He picks the right players, brings them in, gets everybody on the same page, get them in the weight room, because everybody was yoked up for Baylor.
Everyone.
And we gonna be rugged, tough, and we gonna stroke the 3. So yeah, that was, man, hats off. They did their thing. It wasn't even close.
No, Mark Few, the head coach for Gonzaga, he probably like, okay, now I gotta go back to the drawing board.
Man, he was like this the whole time. Like, what in the world is going on? He couldn't help it. They caught him on camera several times. He was just like, he was shook.
That honestly, after the first 2 minutes, when it was 9-0, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
After 10 minutes, I said the game's over.
Now they did bring it to 10 at half. And I felt that was probably about the best they could hope for.
Yeah. They got it to 9 once in the second half, and then Baylor spurted out to like a 17-point lead again, hit a couple of threes, stripped them twice. It was like, y'all need to stop.
Because Gonzaga would turn the ball over and Baylor wouldn't go down for a layup. They would go down and hit a 3. Bam. Yeah. It
was crazy.
That must have been a hard loss, because if you didn't lose all year and then you lose in the championship game and it wasn't really competitive, to be honest.
Yeah, it got crushed. You know you got crushed.
That was a tough pill to swallow.
Now Timmy and Suggs will be back, right?
Suggs is going to be probably a top 5 pick. Suggs is out.
He's gone.
One and done. Timmy will be back. Timmy got to come back.
Yeah.
Timmy, man, had thoughts about declaring, but after that,
them 3 dudes punished him, man. I'm sorry, they punished him.
Now Suggs can come back, but I don't think it's worth it. I mean, for there's nothing to really gain, because you're not going as your team is constructed, you're not going to beat Baylor next year.
Right.
So yeah.
And I give shout out. You mentioned him earlier, Davion Mitchell. I love his nickname the team gave him. They call him Off Night. Because whoever he's checking, get ready to have an off night. And he's from a little small town called Hinesville, Georgia.
Oh my.
Which is a little military town. It's got a base right there in Hinesville. It's kind of maybe 25, 30 minutes outside of Savannah, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Balling. So, yeah, shout out. Couple of things that popped off in college basketball that we just want to point out before we move to our next topic. Men's basketball 2021-2022 season should be nice. They've already got Gonzaga in the way too early listen as probably number 1 going into next year. They say UCLA is going to be stacked. Purdue, Ohio State, Kansas, Maryland's supposed to have a top 10 team. They got a couple of guys transferring in, so it'll be interesting to see. Some big news happened in the coaching fraternity.
Yes. Shocker.
I think we started to see a changing of the guard because of the new things that are happening in the NCAA with the name, image, and likeness coming, with the G League now getting some of the top players, with some of these top African-American athletes deciding to go to HBCUs instead of these big programs. Mm-hmm. So you had Roy Williams decide to retire out of University of North Carolina.
Good.
And I didn't think it was going to happen.
I did.
I did not.
They promoted
not.
longtime assistant and former UNC grad Hubert Davis to be the first African-American head coach at UNC.
Yes.
That was huge. I didn't think that would happen at North
I did not see that coming at
all.
You
thought it was going to be Stackhouse?
No, heck no. I didn't think it would be I didn't think it would be anybody close to Stackhouse.
Hubert put in work. Hubert put in work under.
We've seen that before. We've seen many assistants put in work.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be a whole lot different. I think he's going to be a whole lot different.
No, we're not. Okay.
Go ahead, Ed. Let me hear.
No, I'll leave it alone because I'm with you, Big Red. Professor J, I'm glad he got the job. I was shocked, though. I almost crashed my car when they announced it. I did not think that he was going to get that job.
People thought Ali shouldn't have had the job up at UConn. And what did he do? Win a championship. I know he ended in scandal, but he
UConn is several states north of North Carolina.
And that triangle area, yeah.
I just didn't think, but I'm glad for Hubert. And he's the type of coach. He paid his dues, similar to how Jawan Howard paid his dues. Although he didn't pay his dues, he paid his dues on the pro level. Patrick Ewing paid his dues in the pro level, and they returned to their alma mater. So hopefully it works out for Hubert. I think it will.
Yeah, that was huge news. And right before that, you had your boy Bill Self get a lifetime contract with Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
They get ready to be on probation.
Yeah, he's one of the big names in the scandal that's still going on that people forgot about because under the former administration, they squashed it, but now it's coming back up. So, yeah, he got a rolling 5-year contract with automatic renews each year. So that was crazy. But I think they were scared that he may leave Kansas and follow his mentor to UNC.
Yeah, but the problem with that is this here. See, this is the problem I have with this. The problem I have is they set certain coaches up for life, meaning that Bill Self was probably already set up for life based on his earnings up to this point. But let's play a scenario out. So say if something comes down, Kansas gets placed on probation, and he has to go. Well, now because he has a contract, a lifetime contract, so to speak, that he can be ushered out the door. But of course, as he's getting ushered out the door, they'll give him a little something to keep, for his.
They gonna give him a lot of something.
Yeah, a little something on his way out, and he's set. Don't gotta worry about it. It's just how they take care of each other in these circles is crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then you had your boy Chris Beard, who built Texas Tech up to a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But you can't be mad at him. He's a University of Texas graduate. Then he was a grad assistant for Texas basketball under Penders, assistant coach under Penders. So he goes back to his alma mater, University of Texas, leaves Texas Tech because Shaka Smart was smart and saw the writing on the wall. So he got out of there before they could get him.
Before he became another Charlie Strong.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because they was after him.
They was after him.
It ain't paranoia if you know they're after you. So. The one move that kind of I was a little sad about was to see that Porter Moser left Loyola Chicago after 2 great runs, getting his team into the tourney and making it to the Sweet 16, Elite 8 twice. to leave Loyola Chicago, which I thought he had built into a nice program, but I guess he couldn't pass up that Oklahoma Big 12 money. So he goes to University of Oklahoma, who had an opening because Lon Cougar, another old head, also decided to retire. So you can see that the changes in the game where they have to deal with these players, the transfer portal, got to deal with the G League and all that. These old coaches, you got to get up out of there. You can be tough on somebody, but you can be demanding. You can't be demeaning anymore. You can't say whatever you want to say or they're out of here.
How long does Coach K stay in the game?
I told my wife I give him 2 to 3 years and you'll see him retire soon too.
And what about Cal Calipari?
Kyle gonna hang in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
What about Patino?
Well, he said he's happy. He said I think Iona now. And he says he's done with the big time. He said he's happy with that little small college vibe. He said he don't got to answer to all the everybody, but the players, or the players' parents. So I think he's getting up there in age, but I guess there's no pressure now. He's at Iona.
Right.
So
I am happy though. Loyola Chicago promoted assistant Drew Valentine, 29-year-old young brother, who put in his work and was interested in kind of that 6 steps of separation. Well, I got like 3 steps of separation from Drew. I actually went to high school with his father, Carlton Valentine, at the Master.
Okay.
Wow.
And his brother plays for, I think he's still with the Bulls. Denzel Valentine.
That's his brother?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, some good things happening. We get to see some good young brothers getting some opportunities at some decent jobs. So congratulations to all.
Awesome.
All right, fellas, let's talk a little NFL. We ain't gonna spend a lot of time on this, but it was made official. Of course, we knew it was going to happen, but a unanimous vote gave our man Dan Snyder 81% control of the Washington football team, and the other 19% is owned by his mother and his sister.
So basically, he owns the whole team. I mean, it's, it is what it is.
and they say this has nothing to do with the ongoing investigation. From information I've heard and seen, the final report done. It may have the word draft on it because they're waiting for NFL to add their comments, but the final report's done. And the first recommendation was he should sell the team. Second recommendation, if you don't make him sell the team, he needs to be on a very long suspension of no shorter than a year to allow the people who are in the building who are actually doing good things to put the right atmosphere in the organization to move this organization forward. And then they let this man get 81% total control of the team. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's just the way, that's the country club that he belongs to. I mean, because we always forget, but I think people forget that Roger Goodell works for the NFL owners. He doesn't. The NFL is, he doesn't work for like the NFL. He works for his bosses. He has 32 bosses. They're owners. So, and they're all in cahoots together. So yeah. They're not going to, anything track. They're not going to make any noise because look, we all know they have dirt. Now,
exactly.
Now, what levels of dirt that is, well, that's to be determined. But they all have something about them that you could, if you wanted to, launch an investigation. Well, so.
And don't they need like 2/3 of the owners to vote against him in order for them to sell? That's like Congress. It's hard to get that. So you might have, you got to do something. Yes, you got to murder somebody on Redstone Park lawn or something. Have a knife in your hand with the bloody glove and the confession that said I did it before they had to get an owner out of there. So that's ridiculous. But I was infuriated when I heard that news. And I'm like, man, Go ahead, Ed.
And I believe because the closest thing we have to this is when Richardson got in trouble down in Carolina and was made the solo team. But I honestly believe that if he was a little younger and was really still up for the fight, that he would have never sold. He'd have been like, okay, let's go to war about this. But I'm not selling my team. But I think that he had reached an age where he was like, you know what? I was in the game. I played football. I owned a team. It's time for me to get out. But I don't believe that he really had to get out if he chose not to. I honestly don't believe it. Yeah. So,
yeah, they know Danny wasn't going down without a fight. So,
oh no.
And they all read from the Al Davis playbook, man. They know what's going on.
Yeah. So the big news of the week while we've been gone, Carolina Panthers trade for quarterback Sam Darnold, who was the number 3 overall pick in 2018. And they only gave up a 6th-round pick this year, and they gave up a 2022 second and 4th. And if you know anything about drafting or the draft boards, most GMs, each year you push out a pick, they consider it like a round lower than what it is. So if they give you a 2nd and 4th next year, that's like if you would have got a 3rd and 5th this year. So Sam Darnold has a new home. They're already talking about picking up his 5th-year option. He's only owed $4.6 million this year. The 5th-year option's at $18.8 million, fully guaranteed. So 2 years they can control him for a little over $23 million. That's cheap money for a starting quarterback.
How do these bums keep getting this money? I saw Sam Darnold when he was at USC, and he sucked in.
Exactly.
And he went to New York. Now, I know New York kills a lot of players' careers. I get that. But he sucked in New York. So then they bring him to Carolina. They got a better option already there than Sam Darnold could ever be. Like, Teddy Bridgewater was better than Sam Darnold while in college. Teddy Bridgewater is better than Sam Darnold while he's in the NFL. So why bring in Sam Darnold? You already got that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's hard to ignore the color barrier. It's hard to ignore. It's just hard.
Makes sense.
Well, and now you got a dejected Bridgewater who is like, dang, I just got here. I didn't have any weapons. My biggest weapon was hurt most of the season. I mean, I don't have much to go with. And now you're going to bring him in to replace me. Now what they going to do with him? Of course, they're going to try to get rid of him. And then I hear people talking about maybe Washington should pick him up. I don't know. Maybe they should.
Yeah, so supposedly Carolina was frustrated because Teddy wouldn't put the ball at risk and wouldn't push the ball downfield. That's what they're saying. So they'd rather someone throw the ball and throw a bunch of interceptions and turnovers and give him a chance to get big plays versus somebody controlling the game. Bridgewater had his best completion percentage last year, had his most touchdown passes last year. Coming into a season, we had no off season, a brand new system, had to get used to players that he couldn't practice with, but yet they tossed him out. So, yeah.
See, Teddy heard what they said about Jameis Winston, and he like, oh, you want me to throw a bunch of interceptions and take these risks? He played it safe because he wanted to stay out of that category, and he still end up getting shafted in the end. So what does a black quarterback have to do in this league in order to have his job secure and safe without them bringing some other bum behind you to get you out the door? I just don't understand.
Professor J, I can't agree with you more. I can't.
You got to be Patrick Mahomes.
He couldn't win. He can't win. If he starts throwing picks, he's going to be on the bench. If he doesn't throw picks, now he's not aggressive enough. Can't we have – what are you talking about? What you have no receivers. Heck, okay, you got the kid from Maryland, Moore, but he's just rounding into shape. Samuel stayed hurt. He's at the Redskins. Excuse me. He's with the Washington football team now. He's been spotty as far as his injury history is concerned. I can't name their tight end. I don't even know their tight end. I don't know who it is. Their best player was hurt the whole year. What's his name?
McCaffrey.
It's sad, man, but good. I mean, you know, and I liked what Carolina was doing. I thought they had, you know, had a little momentum going as far as the team is concerned, but it's sad, man.
Right.
It's
just
sad.
like I said when we saw the news break, Carolina gonna get exactly what they deserve, the bottom of the division, and they gonna stay there. Because to think that Sam Darnold gonna come in there and turn this team around,
he's a bomb.
And they gonna end up wasting McCaffrey in his best years in that uniform. Terrible.
One thing I am happy for, I am happy that Teddy got a chance to get paid in a major way, though. Because remember, he signed that quote unquote 3 year, $63 million, which was actually a 2-year contract that was $42 million. But $33 million of that was guaranteed. He got a $15 million signing bonus up top. Plus, he already had $8 million, almost $9 million in his actual roster salary and roster bonuses and playing bonus last year. So he's made almost $24 million, and they owe him another $9 million for this year, regardless of what they're doing. So he got paid, and he got a chance to get some generational wealth. But it's sad that he got to figure out where he's going to go, because I don't think anybody's going to trade for his contract. He's got 2 more years on his contract. The cap hit for this year is $22.9 million. Almost everybody's already paid most of the money that they've had out for their salary cap, and the salary cap reduced. So who's got $23 million left on their cap? Maybe Chicago, maybe Denver.
Ooh.
Washington doesn't have it.
Yeah, I heard Denver came, but Chicago is interesting.
Man, Bridgewater they gonna get Darnold down there in camp. They gonna realize he's a bum. They gonna be like, "Hey Teddy, can you stay a couple more years?" I ain't even tripping over this. It's just the fact that they brought him in there for nothing. That's you know. But they actually gave Bridgewater permission to seek a trade. Yeah,
but again, somebody's got to be willing to take his contract, and then Carolina's got to agree to the terms. So we'll see.
Pittsburgh got a bench full of bums. They got
wouldn't be bad.
You have no money.
Yeah, I don't have any money.
We can cut some of them bums that they got getting paid for free and bring them in there. Shoot, my goodness. I can name about 5 bums they can cut right now. Just give me the phone. I'll do it for them.
Yeah. So
all right, I'll get off the soapbox.
That makes for sure that the number 1 pick, Jacksonville, will go to the Golden Boy. The number 2 pick, the Jets, will be picking a quarterback, and it seems like the BYU quarterback is their preference.
He can't beat Coastal Carolina, and he's going to go number 2 to the Jets. I can't wait till he gets to the New York Jets.
Number 3, San Francisco. San Francisco didn't trade up to number 3 and give away 2 1s and a 3 to not pick a quarterback. And the number 4 pick, which is held by Atlanta, is on the market. Atlanta put it out today.
They sure
did. If someone's interested in moving up to number 4, come talk to them. So that means that they're going to stay with Matt Ryan for at least 2 more years. First of all, his contract and all the stuff that they did with him, he can't go anywhere for 2 years anyway. So that's like we ain't not gonna do what Green Bay did, draft somebody that can't play, because we got to play this guy. But what's really funny is, and we're going to talk about this more as we break down the draft, how was my man from Ohio State gone from 1A to 1B to now they talk about he might be the 5th QB?
Right.
And he got work, and his work ethic, he got work ethic issues. Come on, man.
Isn't that crazy?
He got work ethic issues.
Yeah.
But,
and then they said, well, he only threw to his first read 90% of the time. Yeah, they were open.
I mean, and you're going to have some idiot GM talking about he should be a wide receiver. Watch, that's coming. Watch what I tell you.
Well, that's why Lamar didn't run the 40 before the draft. He said, I'm a quarterback.
Yeah.
He said, there's no need for me to run the 40. I'm a quarterback.
Yeah. And of course.
Yeah. And everybody laughed at him for doing it, and look, and it worked out for him. But Yeah, it's sad. Justin Fields go from the number one or number two recruit in the country, depending on who you believe. It was either him, he was the dual threat number one, and Lawrence was the number one drop back. Right. And then all of a sudden now he don't got no work ethic.
And he beat Trevor Lawrence head to head.
Yeah.
Outclassed him.
And also beat him in all the stuff going into college, the Elite 11. He won that, not Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
He was the one that took the spin in the back, got up, and still dropped 6 on Clemson.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, now he may be the 5th pick. And the first 3 picks, if you believe the pundits, are all going to be white quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, let him mess around and let that boy fall to the Patriots.
Oh, my gosh.
let him mess around. Let him mess around. Okay. Bill will take him in a heartbeat.
And he don't got to fall too far because Bill will say, okay, I'll tell you what. I got the capital. Go get him.
Yeah. So starting next week, we're going to start breaking down what teams need. I think we're going to start the AFC next week. Look at the top AFC teams, what they need to look for in the draft. Well, following week, we'll do the NFC. And then the next week, it's draft week. So we'll break down the top 10 or 15 draft picks and get y'all ready for the draft coming this month, April 29th, first round. So get ready. Fellas, it's time where they start talking softer. And we have a tradition like no other. It's Masters Week.
We just had the Masters Week in November.
So after the strange COVID 2020 Masters in November, it is back to its traditional date in April.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, do y'all think Dustin Johnson can go back to back, win in November, and actually win in April? Do you think
Koepka or the big boy, DeChambeau, whatever his name is.
DeChambeau. You know Koepka's coming off a knee injury.
Yeah, knee surgery, his kneecap.
Well, if ligament. Depending on how healthy he is. If he's playing, is he playing?
Right. Said he might wear a knee brace out there.
Oh, then I like DeChambeau then. Yeah.
You got your boy Roy. Roy, this is the only major that Roy hasn't won.
Right.
Is he finally going to be able to show up on? Because what Roy does is Roy will play good Thursday and Friday, and then blow up on Saturday, and then play good on Sunday. But he's so far back that he can't catch up. So does he finally get his 4th major so he can join the likes of Tiger?
You know what? I'm not a betting man, but I'm gonna go with him on this one to get that last major knocked out and be in a select group. What's the select group? 9.
Yeah, it's like 9 that's won all 4.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him on this one. Yeah.
And then you got Alabama's own Justin Thomas, who's been probably the hottest golfer this year. Your boy Jordan Spieth finally got off the snide. You remember Jordan was supposed to be the next Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
He was hot, and then he went into almost a 4-year drop where he couldn't win the tournament. It was in his head. He won this weekend, Valero Texas Open, so he's coming in on a great shot. But so you got DeChambeau for Ed. Professor is hoping that Roy wins. I don't know if he really thinks Roy gonna win. He said he's hoping that he won.
I'm riding him all the way. That's my horse.
Well, who you got, Big Reg?
I think my boy Justin Thomas is gonna get a green jacket.
Okay.
I'm rolling with the man from Alabama, even though he said some jacked up stuff and cost himself a bunch of money. But
yeah, if we paid attention to what these fools say sometimes, man, we wouldn't like anybody.
True story. So for all you golf fans, the tournament starts Thursday early. If you can get online, ESPN3 generally has some early holes that you can catch, but the TV broadcast doesn't kick in till the afternoon, late afternoon. What I really enjoy, on Wednesday, they had the par 3 contest, and that's where golfers will be out there and they'll have family members on the bag with them as the caddies, and everybody. I think it's like a 9-hole par 3 course that they have that's on the Masters ground that they play, and everybody plays well for like the first 7 holes, and then they all throw it in the garbage for the last 2 holes, because there's never been a person to win the par 3 tournament on Wednesday and then follow it up by winning the Masters tournament. So they all throw it away because they don't want to be the winner of the par 3. So, but it's fun to see the golfers with their family members. You'll have little kids out there. It's just cool. So if you got some time, love golf, check it out.
You think they're going to utilize Tiger in any way?
I'm sure there'll be some tributes.
I think there might be some tributes. You actually had Justin Thomas say he actually visited Tiger last week, and they're texting all the time, and he's really bummed that he's missing this year, and it really finally hit him what's going on. But I don't think we'll see him live.
They should put a headset and a mic on that Bama while he at home recuperate and just let him talk about golf.
Yeah, depending on what he looked like. We still don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Tiger be looking rough.
Reconstructive surgery.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Phil will win. Come on, BJ. Phil barely making cuts, man. Stop it.
I know. I saw that come across. I was like, you just let.
Yeah, I wanted you to see that.
Wow. Phil's
I didn't really know he was
the
playing.
senior tour.
Yeah.
They'll need to stay on the senior tour and dominate that for 3 or 4 years and then call it a day. Wow.
Oh, man.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, though, BJ. Definitely. All right, Professor, it's that time. You ready to hit him with the little baseball flavored post takes this week?
Yes, sir. So let's just get right into it. All right, everybody. These are your post takes for this week. This is an ode to the boys of summer. It is time for a full season of Major League Baseball, and people are losing their minds. The Texas Rangers opened up to full capacity, y'all, in their home opener against the Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Kevon Biggio powered the Blue Jays to a 6-2 victory over the Rangers. That's 1 down and 161 to go for the worst record in Major League Baseball history. Always Texas doing stuff big and wrong. Say it ain't so. My man Fernando Tatis Jr. is already hurt. The Phenom left the game after a 3rd inning swing for a 3rd strike. He immediately winced in pain, favoring his left arm, and bent down to the ground. It appears that he dislocated his shoulder on the power swing, and they had to pop it back into place. He did not return, and the Padres fell to the Giants 3-2. Yeah, the Bronx Bombers are back. They've gotten off to a great start as both Judge and Stanton homered to bury the hated Orioles 7-0. The Yankees once again have their eyes set on the pennant and a World Series title. They have fallen short the last couple of seasons, but should be in the mix again this year to hoist the trophy. MLB sent a strong message to the sports world and beyond by pulling this year's All-Star game out of Atlanta, Georgia. The ugliness of politics and voting rights in the state of Georgia is now a stain on the country. This is more than cancer culture. This is about justice. Give Commissioner Rob Manfred some credit for making this decision and dealing with the backlash of critics and bigots all around. Remember that he also penned the words Black Lives Matter. This is a strong statement that will go far for conscious commissioners and owners in all major league sports. I have a real bad attitude right now. The Nationals have put off the start of their season because many players, coaches, and staff either have COVID-19 or were in contact with someone on the team that did. This is a bad start to the season since I count this season as a defense of their title. Nothing against the Dodgers. I'm glad that they ended their drought, but the Nationals need to be in good form, and this is not a great start. Still today, 10 are on the IL and will not see action for some time. We need some curly W's quick. Former Los Angeles Angels manager Mike Scioscia has been chosen to manage the U.S. Olympic team that will be competing in the summer 2020-21 Olympics. Of course, there are high hopes and expectations for the Americans to win gold, but they first must qualify for the Olympics. This is a good signing because Scioscia is known for his grittiness, wit, and strong relationships with his players. This team should be a joy to watch. When the East is in the house, oh my God, danger! The National League East appears early to be the strongest division in baseball. Not since 1995 did you have an entire division at 500 or better at the end of the season. This feat was accomplished by the East back then. The Braves, Mets, Nationals, Marlins, and Phillies all have scary lineups, and barring any catastrophic injuries, just like in 1995, only 6 games separated the division leader to the last in the division. That is a tight race. Like Nas said, you can hate me now, and if it has anything to do with the Houston Astros, then opposing fans and teams will continue to hate you. Another Texas team, shaking my head. Do you see the pattern here, y'all? In the 6th inning of the Angels-Astros game, an inflatable trash can and recycling bin descended onto the field. Message has been sent. They wanted to be the bad boys of the league, and that is exactly what cheating will get you. If I were them, when they are on the road, they should fast because there's no telling what's in their food. Get out of Dodge quickly, boys. Play ball. Fantasy baseball is in full effect. For those that are excited and into it, let us know here at Post. I will be getting my feet wet in this league as long as I have a Bronx Bomber, a Dodgers pitcher, and a Nats phenom. I should be good. Stay tuned for more on that as I dive into the realm of fantasy baseball. And these are your Post takes. Enjoy the boys of summer. Back to you, Big Reg.
Yeah, a couple things to add on to the boys of summer. Texas Rangers home opener. 39,000 people.
Crazy.
In the stadium.
Crazy.
I know we want to get back to normal.
Right.
But I don't care if it's outside or not. Putting 39,000 people in one place during a pandemic, it's not smart. Just all you got to do is look over to Italy. What caused Italy's major breakouts, they trace back to 2 soccer events that caused that whole country to shut down. But leave it to Texas and their governor to say, nah, we're not going to have any limits on games. Come on through.
Right.
Wear your mask if you feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tatis, man, I was sad to see Tatis go down with that shoulder. Supposedly he's been dealing with this since his days in minor league. He's been having a problem with his shoulder where it would had problems with it. So they just need to have him go to a doctor. They need to figure out what it is and fix it. Because you just paid that man 13 years, $340 million.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He probably never had it operated on either.
Nah. Wasn't making any money. So they wasn't going to put that arranges with him for money. You got $340 million guaranteed. Oh, we're going to get this fixed. And how long are the Bronx Bombers going to stay healthy? Because Judge and Stanton can't stand on the field.
Yeah, I know. They just need them in October. If they healthy in October, they could do some damage.
Yeah.
I think Judge. I think he'll be okay. Stanton is the one. He can never stay healthy. I think Judge I think he's had some bad luck the last year and a half or so. But Stanton is the one. He's the one who's not dependable.
Dang.
That's
it just came out. Tatis Jr. goes on IL. He has a slight labral tearing. Oh man, in the shoulder. Lord have mercy.
They just need to go ahead and operate, get it fixed, let him sit as long as he needs to sit. Don't rush him back because that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah, hey BJ, we praying for you because not only are we worried about Arlington. I hope you ain't nowhere near Waco. We happy They barely won a championship. But I don't know if y'all saw them. They showed after they won a championship, they had the students rush the football field because they were showing the game in the stadium. Mm-hmm. They had several thousand students all bunched together, no mask to be seen anywhere, celebrating the basketball team's win. So I would stay far away from Waco if you can, because that's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get off that soapbox. A couple other items that caught our eye. The WNBA announced smartly that their draft coming up this April 15th will be virtual again due to the pandemic. They don't want to put anybody in harm's way. And last year they had a couple of hiccups with the video glitches, but I think after the NBA and the NFL, I think they'll get it right. So April 15th, watch your top college stars get drafted to their favorite WNBA teams. On the NBA front, happy to announce guard Isaiah Thomas gets back into the NBA. He got a 10-day contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's been struggling. He finally got surgery to fix that issue that he had with his hip. Sat out a bunch of last year, even though he was bouncing around. He actually played for the U.S. Olympic qualifying team to help them qualify for the upcoming Olympics and look good. And he says he's 100% and ready to show people that he can still be a major player in the NBA. So good looking out. And our man Boogie, DeMarcus Boogie Cousins, got a 10-day contract with the Clippers. They say they need some size. So, yeah, good luck with that. Hats off to Grant Hill. Grant Hill was named to be the successor to Jerry Colangelo as the head of USA Basketball following the 2021 Olympics.
Them daggone dookies.
Grant is a smart dude, great guy. So I think he's going to do a good job, and it's good that he gets that opportunity. In the boxing front, my man Jamel Herring put on a show this past weekend. I don't know how many people caught it, but he got a 6-round TKO Carl Frampton over in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, one of the two. Beat him badly, all 6 rounds. And Frampton's corner threw in the towel because they didn't want him to get physically knocked out cold. So he looks good. And rumors are Manny Pacquiao says he's going to fight in June or July. And the word is it's supposed to be Terrence Bud Crawford.
Don't do it. Don't. I like Pacquiao. He don't. He don't want nothing to do with Crawford.
I think Pacquiao, who turns 42, who's 42 now, I think he sees it. I got one more shot, so I might as well go for the biggest payday ever. I beat Keith Thurman in a big upset. Okay. So let me get one more big payday and get up out of here because he get ready to run for president.
But Thurman hadn't fought, wasn't Thurman coming back from being out for a while?
He fought one fight before he fought Pacquiao. So he had a tune-up. But Pacquiao hasn't fought. By the time he fights, it's going to be 2 years since he fought Thurman.
Yeah, he don't want nothing to do with Crawford. You know this, Big Reg.
I understand the payday. Before he runs for president of the Philippines, one more big payday. He can't come to the States because the IRS too much money. So get one more big payday overseas and call it a boxing career.
Oh.
Nothing to say about that, Professor?
Nah. I mean, if that's what he want to do, I mean,
because we all know he get ready. If they sign that fight, that's gonna be real bad.
Yeah,
because Bud is that dude.
That's how powerful that dollar is, man. That you'll take punishment in order to get that payday.
And Bud likes to punish people. Yeah. He got that mean streak. So, yeah. Last but not least, this year because of COVID, the NHL is shortening this season to 56 games. There's only 16 to 20 games remaining. So we will get you caught up right before their playoffs start. The NBA shortened theirs to 72, so you only got 24 games remaining in the NBA season. Came by quite fast, and with the NFL still going on, then It's college basketball. We really haven't touched much on that this season, but come playoff times, we'll be hot and heavy.
Hey.
These leagues are shortening their season. NFL is like, we gaining, we adding.
Yeah, we going to step. They're like this. And the players better not say nothing either.
We won at 18. We're going to take 17 this year. And we'll be back for number 18 soon. So, yeah.
Oh, no question.
Like, that's what we'll do for you. We'll give you an extra play on your practice squad.
Yeah, they're real gangsters of the sports. No
Just
doubt.
gangsters. Yeah.
No doubt. All right, fellas, it's time for us to get up out of here. Professor, why don't you start us off with your closing post, final thoughts?
Well, folks, I know we had fun tonight, and that's how we try to keep the show. We like to keep it light and jovial, but for me, it's going to end on a more serious note. There are people out here who are dealing with mental illness. They're dealing with a lot of struggles that people are just sweeping under the rug. I'm sad to report to you all that the young man that just got killed on Capitol Hill and killed a cop in the process with his car, he's actually the father of a student that I actually know. So the family is really torn apart and ripped apart right now. Please keep them in your prayers. And it goes without saying that if you see something that's going on with somebody that you love and care about, talk to them, ask them about it. You know, put your arm around them, get them some help. Because when we keep ignoring these types of things, then we look on the news each night and we see tragedies happening right before our eyes. So just please love on one another and keep each other safe.
Well said, my brother. What you got for us, Ed?
Well, we kind of talked about it earlier. You mentioned it, but with the country opening up again, vaccinations becoming more widely available. I just want to caution people. I recently traveled to the South, and I experienced a situation, a community, a town, an area where nobody wore masks. And needless to say, I felt a little uneasy, to say the least. But I just want to caution everybody to just please even if you don't value wearing a mask, please, try to be cognizant and respectful of the person next to you, because you just never know what medical situation they may be dealing with and how they personally feel about COVID-19. So everybody just try to stay safe out there. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Well said. Well said. I'm going to try to end this on a more positive note than I normally end. And I'm going to end it on a congratulations and celebrations. I want to give a shout out to my big little sister, Takidra Mawakana, who was just promoted and announced this past week as the co-CEO for Waymo, which is a offshoot division of Alphabet, which in the long version is the parent company of Google. Waymo is pushing the next generation for driverless cars. You'll be hearing more about this company as it driverless technology gets passed in the different states. But I'm just so proud of my sister. She moved out to California, broke my heart as she left. Her and her family hated to see them leave, love them so much and enjoyed spending so much time. But I'm so proud of all she's accomplished. And now to be co-CEO of a major tech company in an industry that's dominated by men. What a great example for all, not only ladies out there and young girls, to see what you can do with a good education, solid background, family support, and the ambition to do whatever you want, but for everybody. So, sis, I'm proud of you. I used to be amazed by all your accomplishments. Now I just say, as I told you the other day, what's taking everybody so long to catch up? Because you are absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
All right, folks, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate each and every week that you allow us time to come into your homes, your cars, and your radios, the opportunity for us to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. live via Facebook Live or our Positions on Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. If you can't catch us live, you can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on our YouTube channel. You can look at your most popular podcast streaming. Look for Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can catch us there. And of course, if you want to hit us up, Twitter at Positions on SPL1. You can also hit us on Facebook at Positions on Sports. We greatly appreciate it each and every week. Thank you as always. We will see you next Tuesday. Stay safe and peace.